In this video, I thought we'd take a look at and have a read through a couple of old postcards that I've managed to pick up. It's been a while since we did that, so let's take a look at what we've got. So starting with this one here, the stamp in the top right hand corner is halfpenny green from Edward VII's reign. We've got the postmark Stratford upon Avon. It's dated the 7th of August 1907. And it's addressed to Miss A. Leggett of Sturchley. And the message reads, I hope you did not get very wet last night just before we got back. We got caught in the storm. And it's signed W.H. So that means on the 6th of August in 1907, there was a storm. And it seems like the sender, W.H., got caught in it. Alright, let's flip it over and have a look at the image on the front. So we have a photo of the room in which Shakespeare was born. As we can see, it's written down there in very small lettering. I've not been on the tourism trail to visit Shakespeare's house, so I don't know whether it still looks like this or not, but it certainly did in 1907 when this postcard was sent. Alright, on to the next one. Now I bought this one because I realised I didn't have anything that had been postally used like a postcard or letter with an Edward VIII stamp on it due to his brief reign. However, this card from Windermere, as we can see from the postmark and sent to Cheshire, has this 1p Edward VII stamp on it. Interestingly, it was posted on the 10th of February 1937, exactly 2 months after Edward had abdicated the throne. So I guess the sender of this card was still using up existing stocks of old stamps issued in 1936 to post this card. Alright, let's read the message on the card. It was addressed to Mrs. Hill, like I said, in Cheshire, and it reads, I receive your letter this morning. The weather is very cold but bright and dry. Hope you will be able to come Friday and that the weather will not be too bad. And that's it. It's signed M. Armitage. And like the previous postcard, it seems like us Brits do enjoy chatting about the weather. And the image on the front of this one shows a picture of Derwent Water near Keswick in the Lake District. Moving on now to this one, we have a photo of the Laurentide Inn in Quebec, Canada. It looks like a big hotel and resort, and I wonder if this place is still around. Anybody in the local area, let me know in the comment section down below if this is still standing. Now I chose this one simply because the message had been typed and it was the easiest one to read. Also, it's dated 1943, so World War II was busy going on at the time. We've got a George VI 3-cent stamp, and as we can see, George is dressed in his military clothing. And I read somewhere that this was done deliberately as a way to show his support during the war effort. But it was also seen as a slight form of propaganda, as it was used to try and encourage men to sign up and continue the fight in Europe and elsewhere in the world. The letter was sent to Miss L.T. Davies, and it reads, I'm rooming with religious old boy. Hope to live where Fred did in fall and not go to coast. Application will be decided June the 7th. Old boy wanted to double rent after I moved in. Am street away from inn. Am fairly well. Bert. So I guess Bert was saying that he lived one street away from this particular hotel. Up next is this card showing a street scene in Midhurst, namely Wool Cottage. Here on the right. It's addressed to a Miss Miller, who lives in Suffolk and was sent from West Brompton SW10 in London on the 6th of June 1928. So George V was the reigning monarch at the time, as we can see from the stamp. It's interesting to note that this is a 3.5p stamp, and that the inland postcard rate at this time was actually only 1p, so the sender overpaid by half a penny by using this stamp. The message is quite interesting. It reads, "Many thanks for your letter received this morning. I'm glad you enjoyed the high school function. Shall be writing when diploma is over. Please will you keep this card for me? I had no other to send." It is signed, but I can't make out the name or the initials. I think it's WC. Now, I enjoyed hearing about the high school function and that the sender was studying for a diploma, and I wonder in what subject. Now, this next card has been on its travels. The image on the front shows Grasmere, again in the Lake District, so we're in the northwest of England. But when we turn it over and have a look at the postmark, we can see that it was sent from the town of Ryde on the Isle of Wight, which is nowhere near Grasmere. It's addressed to a Mrs. F.L. Tutt, is that, in Southend-on-Sea, Essex. So this card hopped off and on again to the mainland UK. It's dated the 25th of August 1906. We've got an Edward VII green halfpenny stamp, and the message reads like this. "Dear Mum, many thanks for all the cards on my birthday. I had 7 altogether and 2 presents. It was a jolly hot day, the hottest this year, I think. Glad to hear you are all getting a good lot of outdoors and hope you feel better. Love to all of you from us both, Ella." Now, I thought that was a really nice insight into her birthday celebrations. 7 birthday cards and 2 presents in 1906. I think people on average today probably get way more cards and presents, and it looks like a fountain pen was probably used to write this message here. And then finally, this is my favourite of the group of cards we've looked at. The front shows this image of a rural scene, again in the Lake District. So that's 3 cards we've looked at now from that area. So it seems that it was a popular holiday spot even back in those times. The postmark shows that it was sent from Notting Hill in London on the 18th of June 1908 during the reign of Edward VII, as we can see from the halfpenny stamp. It's addressed to a Miss L. Boltwood in the London Supply Stores, Lambeth Walk. Now, the message on this card mentions quite an interesting social and political event from those times. And it reads, "My dearest Lyle, are you going to hear the suffragists next Sunday? If you are not otherwise engaged, will you come here for me about 3 o'clock? I shall know you won't be coming if you are not here by noon. Much love, Nelly." So the mention of the suffragettes in this postcard is the interesting gold nugget for me. And for those of you that aren't familiar with the suffragettes and their movement back in the day, well, a suffragette was a member of an activist women's organisation in the early 20th century, who under the banner Votes for Women fought for the right to vote in public elections in the UK. And a movie was made about their plight in 2015 called Suffragette and starred Carey Mulligan. So if you fancy learning a bit more about them, then why not check out that film or just pick up a book. So that's it for these 6 cards. Each one contained a little nugget of information that I particularly enjoyed, and I hope that some of you found it interesting too. If you did, then please subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Give the video a thumbs up And until the next one, bye for now.